Alright, hello everyone. So, since my live coding demo was cut short and I ran into some issues, I figured I would go out and make a video of what I really wanted to go over, and for anyone interested, you'll be able to see how to build a pretty basic React app. I'll use some components, and it'll just be a better representation of what my lightning talk was. So I'm going to start from scratch and show you the whole process of building that clock app with a component. So to get things started, I'll create a React app. So to do that, all you have to do is create React app. Well, first you have to npm install create React app globally. I already have that done, so I'm not going to do that. And once you have that installed, you can do create React app and then your app name. So space and then your app name. So I'll do clock. And that will run through. Takes a little while. This runs through, installs React, the React DOM, all the scripts that React needs. It uses Webpack, which is Webpack and Babel. Babel is a compiler for ES6. It just compiles it so it's compatible throughout all of the web, no matter what browser you're on. And Webpack is just something that runs all of your scripts for you, sort of like Express, and you can just run it with npm start, and it will find an open localhost port, and it's just what your React project will be run through. So let this finish building. Cool. So it says, we suggest you begin by cding into the file and starting it. I'm using yarn, but yours will probably say npm start. So yarn start. Takes a second. Boom. Sends me to the local host. Hopefully. There we go. So create React app gives you this splash page, which we are going to get rid of. So, oops. So let me just get back into that folder, keep my cool. So open it up in Atom, and when you get into Atom, there's going to be your file structure is going to mostly be set up for you for anything basic, and you're on the right path if you wanted to add more folders for components and whatnot. So there is a index file, index HTML file. I always go in here and get rid of all these comments just to make it easier to look at. So they're basically just saying what your favicon is. So yep. And then all that's in here is a div ID of root. That is all this is. So you don't need to keep this. I get rid of it. In app.js, this is a component they give you, which is posting that logo and whatnot to the page. Just get rid of all that. Get rid of this export. This is just so you can, you get rid of logo. But this is just so your file is set up bare bones, just a blank page. I leave the test for now until you get later on. I leave that because it's just setting up the CSS for the body. And then in index, I get rid of this app because we got rid of that component, and all of this. Boom, and yeah, that's fine. So getting started, we're just going to create a simple hello world for now, and we'll add a component to it. So to do that, we're just going to simply write React DOM.render. So this is using the React DOM to render the page, and within this, you can, using JSX, you can use a basically HTML. So I could do hello world, and then you do comma document dot get element by ID, just normal DOM manipulation JavaScript. And I'm going to target the root div because that is all we have in our HTML right now. So if I open this up, boom, there's my hello world. So that's very basic React. But now we're going to add some components and things to it. So what I'm going to do is write a clock function clock. This is just going to make a simple clock. So we're going to do a const of the element that we're wanting to render on the page, and this is just going to equal some JSX code. So it's going to be a div, which it's good practice to put your elements in a single div. So we're just going to do, let's do an h2 of the time is, and then curly braces to inject JavaScript into the JSX. So we'll do new date, which is just a JavaScript function to get the time, and then dot to locale time stream. Cool. So this is just saying the time is, and then within normal JavaScript as we know it, get the time using the date argument. And then we're gonna see, we got the div closed out. So now we're just gonna render this to the page. So within this function, we will do same thing we did. React DOM.render. Then we're just gonna render this element at, I'm missing something right now, but at root. What am I missing? Let's see. I didn't close out my H2. Cool. Okay, so now we should have a maybe not. Let's see. Element. Oh. Down here we have to call the function of clock. So we'll do set interval. This is so the clock updates itself. Set interval clock 1000. So that's saying update the clock function every second, basically. So, syntax error. To local time string is a function. Boom. There we go. And so this is the reason I do a clock is to show you a good representation of what the virtual DOM is actually doing. So in here we have our div ID of root and React root and this H2. So within this H2, the only thing being updated, as you can see, is this time every second, which is why the virtual DOM is so good at keeping up with constant data manipulation in social media sites or whatever else you may be using it for. It targets the only things that need to be updated and will only update that component and nothing else. So So now let's create a component. So you always create your components in a different folder. For now, we can just do app.js. And to start a component, you do export class. So export class, the name of the component. So greeting will be ours. Extends React dot component, and then so inside of that you just render. So render and what you want to return. And we're going to return an h1 of hello, comma this dot props dot name slash h1. And yep, that's all we need. So what this is saying, I'll get rid of that. What this is saying is within this component, the property name will be rendered after hello. Well, that's where the property name will be rendered. So we need to export default greeting. In index, we have to import greeting from slash app.js. And then what we can do with this is all we have to do here is do greeting. It's a self-closing tag. So boom, self-closing, and you can do name. So the property name equals, we'll do peaches. Cool. So now it should say hello peaches, and then give us the clock below it. Probably spelled something wrong. Let's see. Import greeting from dot slash. And there you go. So to go over that again, this is the component greeting that we created here and exported. Imported it here, and we set the this.props.name is equal to the property of name is peaches. So I can name this anything I want. I can name this dog. Maybe not. That was weird. I can name it ASD. And then here, if I go ASD equals peaches, didn't update that right. Probably didn't type something right. Well, that was obviously a reserved keyword, but you get the point. And yeah, so that's a very basic app with a component. Hope this helped a little bit more than my 8-minute lightning talk earlier. And yeah, thank you.